Hello everyone. This is a basic Canvas overview tutorial in preparation for Fall Quarter 2022. My name is Paige Coleman and I am Canvas Faculty Support with Learning Technologies and Spaces. We are part of the Office of the Vice Provost for Student Affairs. I'd like to preface this session by saying if at all you have any questions regarding the tools and material that I'm covering, please don't hesitate to press pause and submit a help ticket at canvas.help@stanford.edu. I assure you your request will not get lost in some long ticket queue. We have a highly responsive team. Again, that is canvashelp@stanford.edu. To begin, navigate to a URL and type in canvas.stanford.edu. Canvas works best in Chrome or Firefox. We highly recommend those two browsers opposed to Safari. If this is your first time navigating to Canvas, you will be prompted to web off, so please save some additional time to do so. As soon as you enter Canvas, you're immediately taken to your dashboard. By default, your courses are unpublished. If I scroll down here, I will be able to view the unpublished courses. Canvas pulls information from the registrar from Access. We do not push it back. So if you are scheduled to teach this fall quarter, and the same applies to students who are enrolled in this quarter's course, a Canvas course card representing that particular course will appear on your dashboard. If you don't see the course that you're scheduled to teach, please submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. Before I delve further into a course, I'd like to review some items in the global dashboard menu. I'm going to begin by clicking on Account. And I'm going to navigate to Profile. Draw your attention to the far right side of the screen. As you can see, my cursor is going to click on these three dots. If you click Edit Profile, here you can customize your own profile. You can add links, a bio, course links. You can also upload your own picture. This is not a picture taken from the registrar. This is your own personal picture or your own avatar. Now I'm going to navigate to Settings. Draw your attention to the right side of the screen under Ways to Contact. We highly recommend that your default way to contact is your Stanford email address. If it is not, it could cause a barrier to entry for students and other teachers or instructors to particular tools you may be utilizing in your course. For instance, Zoom, or collaborations, which are linked to your Stanford account for Google Docs. You may add other ways to contact and other email addresses and even devices. However, you can denote this is the default way to contact by highlighting the star. Now I'm going to navigate to Notifications. Now, if you intend on communicating with students through Canvas, I highly recommend that you let students know so they keep their notifications on or turn their notifications on for your particular course. Here you can set the frequency with which you'd like to receive notifications regarding particular tools and alerts within Canvas. In the past, when you set your notifications here, they apply to all courses, but now you can drill down and set them per course. So it's very important to make students aware of that as well. I'm now going to navigate back to my dashboard. I'm going to scroll down to Unpublished Courses, and I'm going to delve into this course. The absolute last thing you should do when your course is student-facing ready is publish the course, and I will review that at the very end. So as you can see, when I entered this course, I was immediately taken to my syllabus view by default. As a best practice, we recommend the first thing you do is upload your syllabus to the syllabus tool. I'm going to click on the pencil edit icon, And as you can see, this rich content editor box appears. We refer to this as the RCE box, and this is where you will be completing most of your work, and this is consistent amongst many tools within Canvas. For instance, when you're creating an assignment, announcements, discussions. Okay, so I'm going to click inside the box, and as you can see here, I have all these options. By clicking on the carrots, I can add external links, images, media, and documents. Now for the purpose of uploading my syllabus, I'm going to click on the caret for document. I'm going to click on upload document. When you upload a document, it takes it directly from your desktop. Course documents are all documents that you've already placed into files, and we will be reviewing files in a bit. I'm going to upload this document from my desktop. I'm going to click on the rocket ship, and I'm going to click on my fall syllabus. Now there is a lot of clicking involved in Canvas, so even though I clicked on it, I must scroll down, and nothing is viewable to students or publishable until you select your usage rights. And so right here, I must click on this caret. I hold the copyright, it's my syllabus, and click submit. A yellow toolbar will flash. However, it is not fully inserted yet. I must scroll down and click update syllabus. And now it is inserted into that tool. There is one caveat here, and this only pertains to the syllabus tool. When you upload documents to Canvas, it's only visible to those enrolled in your course and other teaching teams that have access to your course. The one exception in the syllabus tool is that it will feed directly out to syllabus.stanford.edu, so it is searchable to others locked down within the Stanford community, because you must be web off to view syllabus.stanford.edu as well. Now that we've highlighted the syllabus tool, the second best practice would be to bring all your course content into files. However, before I review files, I want to review two other tools. I'm going to mention the People tool. This is where you can view all of those who are enrolled in your course. The People tool is visible to students. You can hide it. However, we recommend if you're going to be employing a lot of group project or collaborative based work that you do keep it visible to your students. And students aren't going to see other personal information like the SIS ID, for instance. The only info the student will see of other students in the People tool is their name, their section, and their role. This is also the tool that you would utilize to create groups. We're not going to cover that today, but if you're interested in learning more, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. You could also just request an individual consult as well. Now I'm going to navigate to roster photos. Roster photos are only visible to teaching teams. I'm going to highlight a more robust visual since this is my demo course. So the roster photos tool allows you to familiarize yourself with the students in your course. You can listen to their name pronunciation, and you can also view their preferred pronouns. I would like to mention one significant change that's occurred recently to roster photos. Roster photos will no longer pull pronouns from NameCoach, which was the third-party tool we utilized for pronouns, because students will be able to navigate to Access and record their personal pronouns in Access, and we will pull that info. Pronouns in Access use PeopleSoft, so in Access, students can select their pronouns from a list. Our team is still working on pulling the pronouns students select in Access into Canvas and roster photos. The timeline for this is the beginning to mid-fall 2022 quarter. It's still a bit tentative. We will still utilize the third-party tool Name Coach to pull in the student's name pronunciation. Now I'm going to step out and I'm going to navigate back to files. Let's say we uploaded our syllabus, first best practice, and now we're going to navigate to files. And it's much easier to design and organize your content once it's already in your Canvas course. I like creating folders. One, we recommend making the naming conventions of your folders consistent with that in your syllabus. As a naming convention, you could use units, themes, project, other titles. However, we do not recommend utilizing dates because if you intend on using this Canvas course information again, and all of your content within this Canvas course, we call it importing content over from a previous quarter's course, then all those dates will also come over and they'll no longer be relevant. So you're just going to be creating a lot of extra work for yourself and a lot of clicking. You can drag and drop documents into this box, but you can also upload them. I'm going to show you how to upload them. Very similar to the syllabus tool. Now, as you can see, when I uploaded this document, a red exclamation mark appeared. In order, like I said when we were uploading our syllabus, in order for this to be visible and publishable to students, you must select your usage rights. So I'm going to click on the exclamation mark. I'm going to click my usage right, and then I'm going to click this radio button for publish and save. Okay, and there you can see the radio box appeared green with a check mark in it. Now you may be thinking this is a lot of work to bring all your course content into this box per folders if you're going to organize according to folder. However, there is a very useful hack here that is not quite intuitive. If you are on a Mac, press Command A, and if you are on a PC, press Control A. And as you can see, everything highlighted in blue, and this toolbar appeared at the top of the screen. This allows you to have functionality according to bulk. So you can delete everything at once. You can manage all those usage rights at once. You can move content around. You can download everything as a zip, as a CSV file. You can manage access, which means you can lock down a folder or a document between a particular date and time, so it's not visible in the Files tool when you manage the access and when you set those parameters. A great use case of this would be a PDF or a document for a midterm or a final. And you can also view the docs at once and toggle. Again, if you have further questions regarding Files tool, please send us a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'm now going to move on to announcements. Announcements are a great way to communicate with your entire course. Welcome to fall 2022 quarter. Just like syllabus, you can see this is the same RCE box. You can type anything in here. Please share anything you want. I'm going to scroll down, however, because I must click save. Once I click save, this will automatically deploy to students. There's another caveat here. There are two caveats here. The first being, students will not receive a notification for this announcement if your course is unpublished. So if you want students to receive notifications of announcements, you can create your announcements once your course is published. You can also, under options though, click delay posting. And then you can set a specific day and time that you would like this notification, this announcement to deploy to students. Even if you're creating announcements once your whole course is published, we still recommend clicking delay posting, even if it's an hour in advance, because once you do click save, it automatically deploys. This is a bit misleading because in other tools within Canvas, you have save and then save and publish. So selecting delay posting is a best practice. If you are not new to Canvas, you may notice a slightly new symbol at the bottom of the screen here. This is the Pope Tech tool, and it is now an integrated accessibility guide. It's only viewable to the teaching teams, but it's an accessibility checker used to identify and resolve accessibility issues. And it was made available in all Canvas courses on August 1st. Okay, but it consistently appears to teaching teams, and that includes the TA roles as well. And it will also consistently be next to the Save Cancel button when creating content in any tool where there's the rich content editor. Again, if you have more information regarding this tool, please submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. And one more thing I'd like to reiterate is that when you create an announcement, notifications are not sent from an unpublished course. The course must be published if you want students to receive notifications. Moving on to discussions. Oh, see, I did not save it. Let's go down and let's save it. Now moving on to discussions. Now, discussions are a great way to encourage engagement outside of class time or even during class. Number one here is that this is a great way for students to share files with each other because they cannot do so through assignments. Through assignments, work submitted is only visible to the teaching teams. So I would encourage you to utilize this tool for engagement, but also to have students share files with each other. I'm going to click Add Discussion. Summer. You can post to sections, attach files. One option here I love about the discussion tool is that you can select it to be graded. Every time you select something to be graded, a column for it appears in the grade book. You can also select how you'd like to grade it. You can assign it points, or for a discussion, you could just make it complete, incomplete. You have these options available to you. You can assign to everyone. You can designate a due date. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click Save and Publish because let's say I'm ready for this to be student facing. Moving on, I'd like to briefly discuss Harmonize. This is a discussion tool where students can upload multiple types of files directly within posts. They can also easily record audio and video comments as well. Annotation is also possible directly within content, and new to 2022, Harmonize will also have social annotation. It is a much more robust discussion tool. So if you intend on relying on discussions and utilizing this throughout your quarter, I highly recommend that you take a look into Harmonize and utilize this tool. It's very engaging for students. Please just submit a help ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. We can add it to your course, and we can even set you up in a sandbox. I'm just going to click open discussion. Due to time, I'm not going to spend much more on this tool, but again, I'd be happy to review it with you. Please just submit a ticket. Moving on to Ed discussion now. As you can see, when I did click on Ed discussion, it brought me out in a separate URL. Ed discussion is the Q&A replacement for the Piazza tool on campus. It's an online communication tool that can be used to facilitate asynchronous and synchronous online discussion in a course. So if you have utilized Piazza in the past, we highly recommend that you take a look at Ed discussion. Again, the same applies. Please just submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. We can add this to your course, and we can also auto enroll you in a demo course or a sandbox course as well. Now let's move on to assignments. This is where you grade and collect work that's only visible to teaching teams. I'm going to go through the workflow by clicking on Add Assignment at the top right. As you can see, it's the same RCE box. For the purpose of this demo, let's call this Midterm 2022. Please submit midterm here. Okay, for the purpose of this midterm, I'm gonna, let's say 100 points. Again, display grade as, these are your options. Now, in order for students to be able to submit work to this particular shell, submission type must be online. I want you to see what it looks like when not selected. I click on the caret, click online. We recommend file uploads. Submission attempts, unlimited, limited, number of attempts. Since this is a midterm, I'm going to keep it at 1. You can assign it to everyone in the course, particular individuals. You can set a due date. Let's make it due on September 30th. The default time in Canvas for things to be due is 12 a.m. I have changed mine to 9 p.m. I highly recommend, just to save yourself a lot of trouble and grief, not to utilize the default time and not to have something due at 12 a.m. Of course, you can set this anytime you wish. You can lock this down even further by completing the available from and the until format. So for instance, if you save and publish this assignment shell and you only have a due date, that means students will still be able to click on this and upload work after the due date, and it will just appear late in the grade book on your end. But you can lock it down even further, which I'm going to do, because hypothetically speaking, this is my midterm. So I'm going to make this available, say on September 28th, 9 a.m. And we highly recommend that the due date is always consistent with the until date. We're going to do 9 p.m. So what this means is students will be able to see the assignment title. However, they won't be able to click on it and open it until September 28th at 9 a.m. And they won't be able to click on it and open it to submit work, for instance, September 30th at 9:01 p.m. It's just another way of locking it down further. Going to save and publish. Now what I'm going to do is navigate to student view, the top right side of the screen. I'm now going to approach this assignment from the student perspective and submit work. However, since I'm doing this now, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to edit the available till date. See, that's a perfect example how I could see the title but couldn't access it. I'm now going to click on student view. Okay, and see the difference here opposed to just seeing the title. Now I see the information, how many attempts, when it's due, and I can start the assignment. I'm going to click start the assignment. Again, because this pink fuchsia border appeared, I know that I am working on this assignment as a student. I'm going to click upload file. Choose file here. Let's say this is my midterm. Midterm Coleman. Submit assignment. And then from the student perspective, I am verified. It was submitted, the date and time, the submission details. I'm not going to worry. It wasn't submitted and just went off into space. Now I'm going to leave student view. Now come back, approaching this back from the instructor view, I can see that there was one submission. Now to grade my midterm, I'm going to utilize SpeedGrader right here. Let's say everybody has already submitted their work. When these red boxes appear, please read that information. We reserve this space for important information only. In this case, to avoid data loss, it is highly discouraged to use to have multiple graders at once grading in SpeedGrader. Grades and comments could be overwritten. If you do have large sections and many teaching teams, we recommend that you have a schedule for grading. That is slightly inconvenient. Many also utilize GradeScope, which is very popular in STEM courses, and it allows for much more robust rubrics as well. If you're interested in learning more about GradeScope, please submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'm going to click out of the box. I can directly leave comments. I can highlight. I can cross content out. I really like being able to annotate directly within SpeedGrader. If I add comments here and submit, students will receive a notification. But I can also grade directly within SpeedGrader. I'm going to click enter. And as you can see when I did that, this red oblong box appeared that says hidden. Now draw your attention to the top left side of the screen. You see an eye with a slash icon through it. What this means is the default post policy is manual. And what does that mean? That means all grades are hidden until all at once you deploy them to students. So this is a manual posting policy. Let's say I toggled through and I graded all the students. And I'm now ready to deploy all their grades at once. You can do so by clicking on the eye icon and posting grades. However, I like to do this through the grade book. So I'm now going to navigate back to my grade book. Grades. And as you can see here, I have my midterm assignment shell. Let's say, hypothetical purposes, all students have submitted their work. And there's the eye icon with the slash through it, which means it's still hidden. By clicking on these 3 dots, I can post grades. Once I do so, the eye with the slash icon will disappear. Let's try it again. Canvas is having a hiccup. Oop, there we go. It just took a little bit. Students will receive a notification that a grade has been submitted. At the top of the screen as well, it reminds you that the grade posting policy is set to manual. If you do not like this manual posting policy, and as you're grading through SpeedGrader, you just want grades to deploy to students, you can click the gear icon, go to grade posting policy, and click automatic, and then apply the settings. I clicked on the gear icon. You can also do that by clicking on the particular assignment shell and clicking on the 3 dots as well and clicking on grade posting policy. And that will only apply that grading policy to that particular assignment shell. If you have any questions regarding the gradebook, again, please submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. And if you are interested in more robust grading, in particular with rubrics and multiple graders, please inquire with us about GradeScope. Now navigating back to my course. I'd like to briefly address quizzes. There is a new quiz tool that Instructure, the company that owns and operates Canvas, has been working on for quite some time now. That tool is now tentatively scheduled for release July 2024. So for instance, if I click Add Quiz, I have the option to use the classic quizzes or the new quizzes, which will tentatively be readied for release on July 2024. There is a catch here. That new tool does not have feature parity, and it will also no longer have survey functionality. So if you are new to quizzes and haven't taught through Canvas in the past or spent time creating quizzes in Canvas and you are going to utilize the quiz engine, I recommend starting with new quizzes. If you're very comfortable right now and you've been utilizing classic quizzes for a while, I just want you to be aware that in about 2 years, you will be needing to learn and utilize new quizzes. Again, if anyone has any information regarding new quizzes, please submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'm not going to be going through the exact workflow now due to time. Now, let's say you've created your assignments and your discussions, your syllabus is uploaded, you've brought all your course content over into files, and you want to take it a step further and design and develop your course. You could do so according to pages or modules. Pages is kind of like wiki pages. It could be utilized for that purpose. I'm going to click Add Page. could say week 1, unit 1. If I scroll down under options and click teachers and students, it could be utilized as that. However, students could accidentally overwrite others' work. So we do recommend leaving only teachers on as an option for pages. Page content, creating a page for each theme, week, unit, or project, we find is much more common in STEM courses. But I did want to review this feature. You can fill this RCE box with as much content as you'd like, links, documents, files. Click Save and Publish. However, you can also chunk your content according to modules. I'm going to click Add Module, and I'm going to create a Welcome to module. 2022 quarter. There we go. I'm going to just keep adding modules. The same thing with the naming convention in files applies to modules. We do not recommend utilizing dates. We do recommend being consistent with how you chunked your content in files if you choose to do so, and most certainly your syllabus. You can also add prerequisites to your modules so students cannot move forward until they've completed the work in the previous module. I like just creating all my module title headers and then going through and adding content directly into that module. For instance, I'm going to click on the addition symbol within the module title. I'm going to add a file, and I'm going to add my syllabus. Okay, there we go. I am going to add another module. Nope, not another module. I'm going to add more content. Let's add a discussion. Okay, and so forth. If you see this slash icon or a red exclamation point, that means that it is not published. So I recommend you go back into files and ensure that that content is visible. I'm going to upload my syllabus to my files tool. There you go. Make sure when you upload your syllabus to the syllabus tool that you've also uploaded it to the files tool and published it. I'm now going to navigate back to modules. And publish it. I'm now going to add content into week 1, unit 1. I already have a week 1 discussion. I'm going to create an assignment and add an assignment to this module. Let's say I've yet to create that assignment in the assignments tool. I can start from scratch in modules as well. Week 1 assignment. But once I create it, I must then click on it, and it'll take me to the assignment shell, click edit, and then create that assignment directly within the assignment tool. I'm now going to navigate back to modules. So module is a great way to chunk your content, and it provides a very seamless learning path for students. It's much easier for them to work through unit by unit, project theme, week by week. They can clearly see what's expected of them. Again, if you have any questions regarding modules, please submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. Moving on, I would like to review Zoom. I'm going to click Schedule a New Meeting. There is a Canvas Zoom integration, so you can create your reoccurring Zoom meetings directly through Canvas. However, to prevent multiple notifications going out to students, we highly recommend creating your reoccurring Zoom meetings before you publish your course. It's also important to note here that student and observer access to course recordings ends after the quarter is over. I'm sure this looks familiar from going to the Stanford Zoom URL. Click Reoccurring Meeting. When you create Zoom meetings in Canvas, they are also auto-added to the calendar and to the Panopto tool, which I'll review next. And only the host can download the recording, and the host is the person who created the Zoom session. When you are creating reoccurring meetings within Canvas, where is it? Up here. We recommend that you leave registration off so there's no barrier for entry to students. However, we recommend that you keep require authentication on to prevent Zoom bombing. All cloud recordings are also auto-uploaded to the Zoom tool within Canvas. There is a little caveat here regarding breakout rooms. You cannot create breakout rooms within the Canvas Zoom tool integration. However, they can be created directly through the Stanford Canvas Zoom, the Stanford Zoom portal, and they will feed over into your Canvas course. Now navigating to Panopto course videos. So the Files tool within Canvas has limited space, so we recommend uploading your videos here. You can also create your videos directly here as well. There are much better controls for editing, creating, revising content. The Zoom auto recordings, like I mentioned, are also uploaded here to the Panopto's tool. And it's also easier to import videos for next quarter. If you have any questions, please submit a ticket. We do have two other integrated tools. We do have a Slack Canvas integration, and we also have an integrated tool with Poll Everywhere. For more information regarding Poll Everywhere, please contact the Center for Teaching and Learning or submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'm now going to scroll down to Settings at the very bottom. Let's say I have designed and developed my whole course and I'm ready for it to be student-facing. You can publish your whole course from Settings. You have Unpublished, Published Course Status here. You can publish the course from your dashboard. If I scroll down, I can click Publish here. However, I've always just gotten into the habit of publishing courses from home. I would click Publish. There is a feature here where you can allow your course to be open for shopping, which is essentially to mimic the experience as if students were able to walk in and out of your class on campus during the shopping period, but do so virtually. Students won't be able to see the other people in your course, announcements, or participate in discussions. they'll see a description of assignments, but they won't be able to submit and they can't see quiz questions. But everything else they'll be able to view. I'm going to click Open Course. This will automatically restrict after the add drop period. However, you can do so on your own as well. A few other quick things I would like to mention. After you've designed and developed your course, if you did decide to utilize pages or you did decide to utilize and set up your course according to modules, you can set those to be your home page. Whereas when students enter your course, they won't be coming to syllabus. So I'm going to click under course status on the right, choose home page, and then I can click course modules. You can also clean up all these tools on the left side of the screen by clicking on Settings, and clicking on Navigation. So if there are particular tools that you're not going to utilize in your course, you can drag and drop them under here. For instance, perhaps if you don't want students to be aware of other students in your course and you're not doing a lot of group collaborative based work, you could hide the people tool if you wanted to. Roster photos is only visible to teaching teams anyway, but you could pull that down as well to be consistent. Just don't forget to scroll down and click Save. I'm going to click on Home, and I'm going to click on Student View. Okay, so this is a perfect example. I wanted to highlight this. Best practice as well to check Student View before publishing your course. As you can see here, I'm unable to view my modules. I'm going to click Leave Student View. I'm going to see what's going on. I'm going to investigate modules. Now, I have work that is published in each module title. The catch here is that the title itself must be published for students to be able to view the content within that module. So now I'm going to go ahead and publish the module title. And now I'm going to click on Student View. And I'm able to view the titles and the content within them. I'm going to click Leave Student View. Last but not least, I'm going to navigate to Help in the Global Dashboard menu. Help. And you have all these options available to you as well. If you click Request Help from Stanford Canvas Support, that's the same as submitting a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. Browse Stanford Canvas FAQs. This will bring you directly to the Canvas Help Center, and these are articles that have been carefully curated by the LTS team that pertain directly to our needs at Stanford. But please do not spend more than 5 minutes trying to figure something out. This is what we're here for, and we highly encourage you to just submit a ticket. There is no question too big or too small. So on that note, I'm going to leave you again with Canvas Help at stanford.edu, and I hope you have a lovely quarter.